We provide services for prisoners and ex-offenders and for families of prisoners, and also services for young people who may be in conflict with the law. The aim of the services really is to support the reintegration and resettlement of offenders, and that really is in line with government policy in relation to in the research, which shows that prisoners and ex-offenders who have strong family links and who have something to look forward to in the community in relation to work and something to give them a stake in society, that they actually are much less likely to re-offend.
NICWA provide a range of services for families, ranging from the Work Prison Link right through to our current Parent and Child Support Programme, our PACS programme. Children of prisoners are a very at-risk group.
It helps the father cope with his sentence, and hopefully when that person's released also to look maybe at their offending background and not get into that situation again, because they do have a family outside and they do have young children growing up and depending on them.
I think the families and children of prisoners and offenders deserve a service in their own right, and NICWA has always strongly put that forward along with other voluntary sector organisations. They are a particularly vulnerable group of people who find themselves in a situation that is not of their own making.
My brother had been staying with me, and he came running out the front door and he said, "You better come in, Ronnie's been arrested." And that was on the Friday morning, and it was Saturday evening before I'd heard anything from Ronnie.
One minute he was there and the next minute he just wasn't, and that's it, you know. It's been a hard one, like.
Whenever he was arrested, I thought, oh no, it's not happening, is it? You know, it was just, I thought, oh, what am I going to do?
He got piled on by police and took away. I was actually taken away because I was with him, and I also was locked up for a weekend.
So we went to work one Tuesday morning, I think it was, and just never came back, basically.
You know, one day you'll be okay and the next day you'll just fall to pieces, like.
It was all tears and crying and what's happened and where's my dad? And it was awful, really bad.
Just really didn't understand and thought, oh no, am I going to have to go through all this, and how am I going to explain to people, and what should I be doing and where should I be going, and things like that there.
You sort of feel like people are looking at you in a different way. And when Trevor went, we were all in such shock. I became depressed and inconsistent with the children. And my wee son has suffered behavioural problems from his dad leaving, because it was just a big shock to him, and I've been told it's like a bereavement to a child.
Lying to them makes it worse. The elder lads sort of knew what had gone on. It was harder for the girls, especially the baby. She's only 8, because she's his little princess. You know, there was questions asked to me then about the dad, you know, and I felt it easier to just say, look, you know, he done that, because it'd come out at the end, like, my kids haven't got the dad, so they need me there, like. Just tried to carry on with life as best we could.
The experience of parental imprisonment has been likened to that of a death of a parent, but because of the nature of that loss, there aren't the normal outlets for grief, and if children aren't given that outlet, there's no acknowledgement of the grief, and therefore there isn't the support that they needed.
Many families will describe it as a sort of enforced single parenthood. One minute they're part of a couple, and the next thing the person's taken away. They're also likely to feel quite angry and let down around the offences that the person has committed. They're afraid for their children. They'll be quite anxious about the stigma in the community as to what their children are going to be faced with. A lot of parents will really struggle about whether to tell their children or not. They will struggle about whether to tell the school, their doctor, their family and friends.
A child whose parent has gone to prison is obviously in a very vulnerable position, and teachers in their everyday activity and practice are always very attentive to changes in behaviour and the emotional engagement of the child with their learning. So good teaching involves an education of care. Teachers are indeed very accepting of the role that they can play in association with others to ensure that the child has a fantastic learning experience.
We would do a very holistic assessment, and that would take into consideration all aspects of their life. We would then do out an action plan for each parent and the children within that family. And obviously what's in that action plan will vary greatly. We would work in a multi-agency capacity in order to access appropriate services.
I got involved with NIACRO, who advised us to tell the boys before it went into the papers. Caitlin read out NIACRO, it's a parent and child support thing. She came out the night that we told them, you know, what had happened and that, and she was there for them because Nick had got really, really upset. I don't know what I'd have done without her. I don't think I'd have been here, really. We were left with no house, no money. I wasn't on benefits or anything like that there, but they were able to sort that out.
NIACRO actually contacted me themselves. That in itself gives you a wee bit of confidence to think, well, somebody's interested. That's what they're there for, basically, to help us. Things have been so much easier since, so much better. I'm not saying I don't still get my ups and downs, but I know that there's somebody at the other end of the phone if I need them, and I can phone as many times as I want for as much support I want, and it's really, really helped me out. And you know, they give you an idea of how you can move your life forward.
NIACRO were very helpful, and I don't think I'd have got through without the help of them sorting out benefits. A mentor for my eldest son who was going off the rails a wee bit while his dad was away. Talking with my other children as well, you know, we've all got to muck in and help Mum.
They're going to be released one day and they're going to come home, and you know, it's important that all during that time that contact was maintained.
I know that there's, if I needed to speak to anybody, that there's there, that if there's anything that I need to know, that they're there to talk to you about it. Like, I mean, the women are really, really good. Like, sometimes you'll be lost without them. Without them, I wouldn't know how to get into the jail or what times the visits are, how to book the visits. They're fantastic. And would you like a cup of tea before you go in? You know, they're great. Like, and you kind of need it, because once they go in there, you know, you have nobody.
Prison Links a joint area of work between NIACRO and probation, and when someone is arrested and taken into prison, they're seen the following morning by one of the probation team in the prison, and a referral is then sent out to the Prison Link team. And the first thing we would do when we receive that referral is we send packs of information out to all families in Northern Ireland. We then look at what we term high priority and offer a home visit. And high priority are families where someone has been sent away for the first time, or someone is going to be doing a long sentence, or there's children in the family, and we have childcare services in some areas and we may be able to help out there, or somebody's been given a custody probation order. The team then cover different geographical areas and will do that visit and offer emotional and practical support to families. And other families who don't get the visit often ring in, and we can do that over the phone. It gives the family the opportunity when we visit to speak about what's happening then, because no matter what reason a person goes into prison, there's a family out there who are left then trying to deal with practical and emotional things in their lives, and particularly where there's children, and trying to cope with telling the children where their father has gone or why he's gone there, and also dealing with all the practical things around making the visit. We have a very good comprehensive transport service which runs throughout Northern Ireland. We also have volunteer transport in some areas, and we also in some areas will help where maybe a relationship is broken down and a volunteer will take the children and sit with them on their visit to their father.
Prison Service recognise that separation has a big effect on families and children, and so we try to make visits a bit more family friendly for the children. We run child-centred visits once a month, where the child can spend that extra hour and a half with their father, and it gives them time to play with the child and just to make that special bond. Plus you find that sometimes they're having problems with things, and that wee extra time with the child can calm people down, and it's special, and the prisoners would be very, very thankful and would always thank staff afterwards. It's hard to find the balance between this family-friendly stuff and security, but we are trying to sort of find that balance.
Even the time that they've spent with their daddy, they're closer to them, and now they just adore him, that's Daddy's princess. It's a chance for her to spend time with her daddy without me there, which gives me half an hour's peace as well, which I never get.
A girl come from, I think it was Magabra, and she's a prison officer, but she's a family support worker. She came out, talked to the boys, they asked questions about what happened, how did they go, how did they go and visit, what days could they visit, and answered all their questions for them, which has really, really helped.
He's getting to spend an hour quality time with them on his own. They can get to bring a book or a teddy bear or homework, show him something that he hasn't seen, and they get to pick books, and he can take it back and read it on to a tape for them and bring it down to them for the next visit, so they have a tape and a book.
And they were happy ever after.
Chelsea'd be forever drawing pictures for her dad and stuff. So they'd either post them in, or they'd do one while we were in on the visit, and then he could take that back to his landing and put it up on his cell. Got lots of his wall was full by the end of the sentence.
Male prisoners who adopt a strong parenting role on release are more successful than others who don't assume the same responsibility. On the PACS project, we would work very, very closely with Bernardo's parenting project.
Parenting course helps us out a lot. Played a big role with all my children and myself. Taught us all a lot. Jonathan was going out and sneaking out and doing silly things at first. We eventually got him in touch with a mentor to try and put him on the right track, and he's settled down a lot.
Found loads of support from McGilligan. The staff are lovely there, they really go out of the way to try and help you, and everybody that's linked in with it.
They were very supportive towards us. They gave me information about Prison Fellowship, who give the children presents for Christmas, and took us away for a wee weekend because we were having no holidays. Gave us vouchers for the cinemas and stuff because money was tight, and they were very good to us.
I mean, even just someone to sit and chat to, somebody that can show you how to fill forms in, help you if you get into any debt, help you to organise how to deal with the situation.
I wouldn't have done it without them, to be honest. They were very helpful.
I think if anything, it helps him get through it the most, knowing that he has the children there. That just makes me feel happy that she's actually got some kind of bond with them.
Bernardo's works in the 3 prisons across Northern Ireland, and we provide a whole range of programmes that are based on encouraging good contact between the family at home and the prisoner in each of the jails, and we run a range of parenting programmes that helps to support both the families on the outside and the prisoners inside to maintain that contact. The way we work with women in prison is very different from how we would work with the men, because we recognise that many of these women will have had very troubled backgrounds themselves. Some will have been abused as children, some will have had drug and alcohol problems, some will have been victims of domestic violence. So it's very important that we handle their situations very sensitively, The fact that they're separated from their children causes them a great deal of pain, and many of those children will be in alternative accommodations such as foster care or adoption. So raising the issues of how they give their children proper explanations and think about the issues with regard to their children is something that requires a great deal of sensitivity.
Children and young people are the future, and if we give them a stake in our society, then we're much more likely to have a good society in the future.
Get me to the ball. There is a disco at the palace. The rest have gone and I am jealous. I want to dress, I want to coach, and earrings and a diamond brooch, and silver slippers, 2 of those, and lovely...
We're very impressed by the ways that young people and children can pick themselves up and get on with their lives and make really good choices for the future, and that is something that makes our job very well worthwhile and makes the services feel very positive.